Coming up today, after years of studying and late nights at cram schools, the day is finally here. Hundreds of thousands of students in Korea are sitting their university entrance exam. We have a special report. More talks at the National Assembly as the rival parties make yet another attempt to reach a compromise over how to redraw Korea's electoral map ahead of next spring's general elections. Plus, Korean products fly off the shelves as China's Alibaba racks up more than $14 billion in sales on Singles Day. Stay tuned for these stories and more. Hello, it's Thursday the 12th of November. You're tuned in to our midday newscast. It's very good to have you with us. I'm Mark Brew. So, today, it's a college entrance exam day here in Korea, and over 630,000 high school students are sitting pretty much the most important exam of their lives. For more, we connect to our reporter, Kwon Jang-ho, who is at one of the 1,200 test sites where the exams are taking place. Jang-ho, where are you and how are things going?
Hi, Mark. Behind me is Seoul High School, and inside the test takers are just about to finish their math exam before they take a break for lunch. Exams started at 8:40 a.m. and finished at 5 p.m. They took the Korean language portion of the test earlier this morning, and coming up after lunch is the English language exam, which starts off with a listening test. During this portion of the exam, which starts at 1:10 in the afternoon, buses and trains near schools will be asked to slow down and the use of car horns will be prohibited so the test takers are not distracted. And as further precaution against noise, airplanes will also be grounded for 35 minutes.
Yes, Jang-ho, Korea really does go out of its way to support the test takers during this extremely stressful time. And for our international viewers, you might be wondering what all the fuss is about. Tell us how big of a deal this test is.
It's considered one of the most important exams in a student's life. Students spend years studying for it, and the results will determine which universities they get into. It culminates on this one day when the exams take place, and that means it's more important than ever for students to be on time. For that reason, people start work an hour late to ease the morning rush hour traffic, and extra buses and subway trains are also put into service. Police also provide special services and escorts for students who find themselves running late. And we even saw one student today who had recently broken his leg and was in a cast and wheelchair. But the importance of the occasion meant that nothing was going to stop him from missing it.
Yes, and Jang-ho, we've just been watching the video you provided for us. And there were groups of students gathered by the entrance gates. Who are they and what are they doing?
They're juniors who are not yet taking the exams, and it's an annual tradition for them to come and support and cheer on their... Even saw one student today who had recently broken his leg and was in a cast and wheelchair, but the importance of the occasion meant that nothing was going to stop him from missing it.
Yes, and Jang-ho, we've just been watching the video you provided for us, and there were groups of students gathered by the entrance gates. Who are they and what are they doing?
They're juniors who are not yet taking the exams, and it's an annual tradition for them to come and support and cheer on their seniors as they enter the school grounds. They sing songs and give out snacks and energy bars, along with final words of encouragement from the teachers. I met with one group of juniors who had camped out in front of the school since 9 p.m. last night, so they could reserve the best spot to give their support to their classmates. It's a little life relief for the test takers before they start the serious and stressful task of actually sitting the exams, which they are doing right now. Back to you, Mark.
Well, good luck to all the students taking their exam today. Now, in other news, the presidential office of Chongwade says it has no plans to carry out a cabinet reshuffle anytime soon. Senior presidential press secretary Kim Sang-woo told reporters on this Thursday that it's time to focus on urgent bills related to the livelihoods of the people. President Park has been calling on lawmakers to swiftly pass bills on labour reform, economic revitalisation, as well as the Korea-China Free Trade Agreement. There had been speculation a cabinet reshuffle was imminent to replace ministers who are widely expected to run in next April's general elections. Lawmakers are scheduled to vote today on dozens of long-pending bills in the first parliamentary session of the month. Up to 50 bills are up for consideration after being passed at a Judiciary Committee meeting this morning. A slate of more controversial bills, including one proposing free childcare services, is still being debated. Parliament is back in session today after a delay caused by bipartisan wrangling over the government's decision to retake control of history textbooks for secondary school students. And staying with domestic politics, and Korea's rival parties are meeting again today to try and narrow their differences on redrawing the country's electoral map ahead of general elections set for April. For more, we have our National Assembly correspondent Ji Myung-gil on the line. So Myung-gil, what are the prospects for today?
Well, Mark, the discussions have continued throughout the week, but it hasn't been easy for the rival parties to reach agreement on a redistricting plan. They're hoping to find a resolution by their self-imposed deadline of tomorrow, 5 months ahead of the election, but it's looking like they'll have to extend that. The main sticking point here is the number of constituencies and whether to maintain or reduce the number of proportional representatives. The ruling Saenuri Party is against increasing the number of seats in the National Assembly from the current 300. Instead, it wants to increase the number of constituencies and reduce the number of proportional representatives who are chosen based on the total number of votes each party gets. The party believes that this will make room for more rural constituencies. The main opposition, New Politics Alliance for Democracy Party, is firmly against the idea, saying it could stoke the regionalism in Korean politics. It wants to maintain the number of seats for proportional representatives. Surveys have shown, however, the public is generally against parliamentary expansion. Mark?
Well, thank you very much for that report there, Myung-gil. Now, top North Korean aide Choi Ryong-hae was nowhere to be seen on Wednesday as the North held a state funeral for Lee Il-sol, one of the regime's first-generation military leaders. Pyongyang's Korean Central News Agency said Thursday that the funeral for the retired marshal was attended by Kim Jong-un, but it made no mention of Che, who is secretary of the ruling Workers' Party and one of the most powerful men in the North. Che's omission from the funeral committee sparked speculation he might have been purged. Now, other top-ranking officials were seen at the funeral. They included Kim Young-nam, President of the Supreme People's Assembly, Hwang Byung-seo, Director of the Korean People's Army General Political Bureau, and Prime Minister Park Bong-ju. The South Korean government is observing the North at the moment, especially at the moment, for any signs of changes in the regime's power structure. Back here in South Korea, and the Bank of Korea has left its key rate steady at a record low of 1.5% for the fifth straight month. The central bank's decision on Thursday comes as speculation mounts over a possible rate hike by the US Federal Reserve next month. Analysts say that given the uncertainty, a further rate cut could prompt capital outflows from Korea and cause instability in the local financial market, especially at a time when household debt is rising at such a rapid pace. The economic recovery is also showing signs of momentum, giving the central bank more time to gauge the impact of 4 previous rate cuts over the past 15 months. The economy grew 1.2% in the third quarter from the previous one, beating market forecasts. China's e-commerce giant Alibaba broke its own sales record during this year's Singles Day online shopping event. And the Korean firms that were in on the action helped the country set a sales record of its own. Now, Park Se-young has a story.
Korea is number 3 after the US and Japan on the list of countries that sell to China on its biggest online shopping day. That's according to ICB, the Korean partner of Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba Group, which says the figures were confirmed by Alibaba's online marketplace, Tmall Global. ICB handles about 90% of the products from Korean firms like Gmarket and We Make Price, which are ordered through Tmall and shipped to China. During the Singles Day shopping event on Wednesday, Tmall Global received 10 million orders, which is 20 times more than last year. Of that, Korean firms racked up a record 500,000 orders. This year's Singles Day was massive, and total sales came to $14.3 billion US. That's an increase of nearly 60% from last year, making Wednesday the largest shopping day in history. And in just the first 12 hours of the shopping event, Alibaba surpassed last year's sales record of $9 billion. Over 16,000 international brands were involved in transactions between buyers and sellers in 32 countries and regions, nearly 70% of which were orders made on mobile devices. 박세영, 아리랑 뉴스.